Perry Peacock with Roller's Innovation with a little tarp tip today. If you have one of our tarps or you're thinking about getting one, just tell you a little bit of some other functionality about the tarp. And for today I want to talk about the tent stake bags that come with your tarp. Now if you do have the old style bag, probably a little more than a year ago or so, it came in kind of a square bag with the Velcro patches on the bottom. And so nothing wrong with that. We just made a change, I think, about a year ago. And now it's a cylindrical bag. And of course the bag color matches your whatever your tarp is. So I'm just using this one for contrast here from our high-vis gear. And so now they're a cylindrical shape with a round Velcro patch on the bottom. And now let me show you how you can use that and how you can turn that to your advantage. I don't think anybody else has that on their tent kits. Now on your tarp you've got, of course, sewn on nylon tabs all the way around the edges, and also you have one in the very middle right here, and then towards one corner we have like this is the PSTL, the large tarp, 10 by 10. So on this one we have 3 tabs, a center, and then one right there, one there, and then off to the corner. So we have 3, what we call 3 center inner tabs. Now, I wanted to show you. Now on the underside of each of these central tabs, there's a Velcro patch sewn in. And so the idea, and I'll show you in a second, the idea is once you dump your tent stakes and cord and all that out of here, you can take that Velcro, stick it to that Velcro, and now right there, that gives us a little tube, and we'll shove a stick up inside of there, and so that'll become our center pole. That way we can do this without worrying about harming our tarp or having to have like a grommet hole or anything like that in here. We can use whatever we got, so that way you can tie off from the top if you have trees available, or if not, you can use a pole and stick this way. So that way each of these tabs that are in the center portion can be accessed either from above or from below. So let me show you how we lay that out. I'm just going to kind of stake this thing up real quick, and then I'll show you the setup. Alright, now since I'm doing a diamond pitch here, then I'm going to stake the far corner, which I've already done, and then two of the corners perpendicular to that one, basically. And then we'll put the pole in towards the other end. But what I want to do, a lot of times, all of our tent stakes that you get come with a shock cord on them, and that means I can use the tent stake solid just like this, which I do at times, especially if the weather is very heavy, really windy. A lot of times I'll do that, and then I might do 1 or 2 with the shock cord. I just kind of base it on what's going on. But now I can also put the shock cord through the loop like this, and then I bring it over the bottom of the stake. And now if I go like that, then I've got one loop of shock cord, and it'll give me a lot of stretch, and not a whole lot of tension, but it'll give me a good amount of stretch. Now if I want this to still have shock cord, but I want it to be stiffer, then instead of passing it over the head of the stake, I'll let it hook under the stake hook right there. Now I've got 4 pieces of shock cord. I still have stretch, but it's much stiffer. So if I want to do that, then I just come out here like this and go in there, and then I'll pound that down here. Now oftentimes when I'm setting up a diagonal pitch or diamond pitch type tarp, a lot of times I won't drive the cords all the way in until I kind of do some final adjustments, especially the ones on the 2 sides. So let me go ahead and get the other one up, and then we'll get our pole in there, and then we'll do some adjusting. Alright, so now if you look at our PSTL, the large tarp here, you'll see that we've got, see the profile up here, and then instead of going straight from that point down to the end, we actually put a second post inside, which I'll show you that goes to the Velcro piece inside the center one. So we have another one right here, but I went back to that one. And so what that does, gives us a nice tight ridge right here on the tarp, so we can pull it in really nice and tight and kind of keep everything up. And so I'll show you, we'll take a look inside and I'll show you how I did that. I wanted to show you another thing or two here. Okay, now you see right here, this is the two center tabs along the long edge, or a couple of the center ones. And instead of using, you get 6 tent stakes with each tarp, with each of these, either the PST or the PSTL. You get 6 tent stakes. Well, by using about a 2-foot long stick here, finger diameter, I put that through my tabs right here and just put 1 stake in the center. So now I can pull down on that whole section with 1 tent stake and kind of hold that out for, you know, so it's not flapping along in the breeze or whatever, and then I don't have to fashion me up a stake for every one of these. So that's just a little idea here. And what I did on this side is I put, see, I got the shock cord wrapped around it as if it's a double wrap, so I got 4, you can see I got 4 shock cord lengths around there. So it's as if I went through a tab, but I went around the stick instead and drove that in. And so that way, that gives me still some shock absorbing action here, and I also am able to stake out a larger area with 1 tent stake. When you look inside here, you see with doing it this way, I can fully stand up inside this tarp, and I can even reach all the way up a whole arm length. I'm 5'10". I can reach a whole arm length and barely touch the top of the inside right here at the peak. So now I've got plenty of sleeping area back in here. I can put some gear in the front sections here a little bit. I can put a stove or whatever right here, wherever, a little, you know, gas stove or whatever kind. And also, if I need to stand up to change clothes or that sort of thing, I can fully stand up right here. Actually, like I said, I'm 5'10". I can be an arm's length from the edge of the tarp back in here, and I can still stand inside of here without my head hitting the top. In fact, I still have about that much space on top of my head at this point. So this kind of pitch I really like. Typically, if I do a diagonal, and I kind of call this, it's a kind of a Forester style, because the front kind of comes in instead of like a regular diamond. Your tarp goes straight out to the edges. This way we're folding the edges back under a little bit here. It gives us a little bit more relief and a little more protection. So anyway, that's why I wanted to pitch it up this way. So anyway, this is very roomy. In this configuration here, you know, of course we could easily sleep 2 people with gear. If I elected not to put the center pole in here, we could sleep 3 people in here and be fine with gear also. But it's kind of depends. Lean-to style, some of those styles we sleep 5 or 6. Let me show you the stake bags here. This one right here is one of the square style, the old style. And whenever you buy a tarp from us, you get 3 of these shock cords that have a cord lock on them right here. See that? I don't know if you can see it. There's a cord lock on there. So you can cinch it up with the cord lock and tighten it up. So all we did is drop this bag over the stick. It's about shoulder height of me right there. And then we stick the Velcro. I'll even show you here. Here's the Velcro patch right there. Now you notice if I just leave a diagonal pitch and don't put that in there, I mean, it's fine, it's no problem. But just pushing that up like that just a little bit, I don't know if we can show it here. If you look kind of down the sides right here, you see how the sides kind of sag just a little bit. But look, as soon as I stick that up there, straight line. So it tightens up your sides, gives you a nice sharp side walls, gives you more room inside. And so you see, to stick that on there, all you do is just line up the Velcros, stick it on there, and then you just kind of push it in to tension it up a little bit, and you're good to go. That's all there is to it. And now with this, you don't have to worry about some stick poking a hole in your tarp or anything. We're all reinforced right in there and everything. So, you know, it gives you an option of using a stick on the inside. Now, this is the big one up in here, the tall one. And I used an orange one so you can kind of see it. This is the round style, right? This is the new kind. Now your tarp still comes with the 3 shock cord loops. But with the round style, we found most of the time the stake bag has a drawstring on it. So you can actually just tighten the drawstring around and lock down the cord lock. And normally that's all you need to hold that on there, and you're good to go. Now you see I'm standing on the ground, I'm reaching up. So to me, I barely touched the top of that. So I've got a lot of room inside of here. So what we did is we brought these 2 tabs together. The next one's out from the corner. That'd be like bringing these 2 together, for example. We brought those together and tied those off right here together. Sometimes I put a carabiner through there and tie it off. And then this piece right here can just hang there. You could tie it off to the center pole right here if you wanted to. But normally what I do is I just to keep it out of the way a little bit. You can actually lay it on top too. You don't have to put it underneath. Sometimes I do this. So here's our front corner flap that we folded back, and we just pulled one of the tabs through the other one, dropped a fork stick through there, and see, like that. And then that thing right there will keep it in place. We're good to go. Okay, now you can see that I've made a little change to the layout. I didn't change any tent stakes. I didn't change anything really. All I did is took the pole that was right here and I cut off, let me show you. I cut off about 12 inches of it. About, you know, so much. I cut off that much of the pole and I moved it back from the, it was at a tab right about here. I moved it back to the next one, and I just put it up in there. Took me about 3 or 4 minutes all total to move from being the tall, about 7 feet at the peak, down to about 6 feet right here at the peak. Now the other thing that it does is, you see our sleeping gear comes to about right here. So that puts all this stuff out here in front of it. It drops our front profile a lot. And so that gives a lot more weather protection and still have an open front. Let me bring the camera around to the front and show you how it looks there. Alright, so if I look at a front profile here, see, I can still, I'm 5'10", I can still stand upright right inside of here at the peak without a problem. I'm really not squished at all. So, but that gives me almost like a little vestibule in the front of here that can help me close this off from storminess and that sort of thing. I have even done where I loosen my cord here just a little bit and pull these in. In fact, maybe I'll show you, which lowers your profile even more. So there's a lot of things you can do to make this thing more, you know, good for storms and that sort of thing, depending on what your weather is. I like to be as open as possible, but if I need to batten down the hatches, I can. Alright, now I just changed the configuration again, so this is the 3rd time I changed it. The actual time to make each change was just 3 or 4 minutes. So now what I did was, this time, was originally the corner is now folded under. It was out here. So I went to the next tab back, put the tent stake there. So I moved back this far. That way I could fold this down. I didn't change anything about the tarp setup from this pole all the way to the back. Nothing has changed on this setup. But now you see I'm closed down considerably farther. Now I'm not even waist high, the size of my doorway. So now I've really closed that down a lot. And as you can see, there are so many little things you can modify in this setup. You can sit here all day long and tweak different things and change and modify the setup to meet your needs. But now I still have all the same amount of size, the space inside that I had before, but I'm much more closed off to the weather. Alright, let me show you a little something here. Alright, this is our corner tab for when we fold over the peak of it. See, this is the gusseted corner right here. Now, sometimes, depending on how your tarp is torqued and situated, it's not as convenient. Like, I can put this through here like I showed you before, down here, and put a stick in there. And that's fine, but you notice it's kind of pulling up on here a little, which doesn't hurt anything, it just makes it a little baggy. So normally we do carry on our website these mini easy clips, and it's kind of, you see, it's a wedge shape right here, and that wedge shape slides into this here. There's some teeth on that side, and that slides into there underneath this cross strap. And well, if I put it in there right, it'll go. But you see, there's a little gap right there. As you push it in, that wedge just pushes down tighter and tighter, so it's very easy to tighten down. And if you put a cord through here, when you pull on it, you see this back piece is the piece that's inside the window. So the harder you pull on that with a cord, the tighter it makes this go. So that's their motto, is the tighter the pull, the harder the pull, the tighter the grip. So all we do, if I didn't want to go down there and use the tabs, I just go like that right there. And we use these like crazy. Anytime we want to clamp a couple pieces of tarp together, or if we want to, put another grommet point somewhere in between a couple of these, that's what we do. I always carry some of those. But like I say, I really like the little low prow. You can drop a few of these in your pocket and never even know it. So they're very light and very slim and trim. So this is Perry Peacock with Wilderness Innovation, just showing you some tips on using the tent stake bags to support your tarp in the middle if you want to, and just a couple other pitching tips. So I hope you enjoy your time out. If you have our gear, hope this helps enhance how you use it. If not, maybe you ought to get some of our gear. It's I don't know, value for the money. I don't know if you'll find anything any better in the tarp business with all the extras you get with our tarps and everything, and the sturdiness and all that. They're tough as nails, man. They're good, and they're still reasonably light. So take care, enjoy your time out like I do, and have a great day.